Welcome to the Claim Your Day podcast. Here, it's all about taking full advantage of the time we have today and becoming intentional with our actions so we each can have the impact we want. If you want to stop drifting through life and start directing your life, and you're open to a short podcast from someone who's working at the exact same thing, then welcome. You're in the right place, my friend. Hi, I'm your host, Nick Mazey. To respect your time and so you can claim your day, let's dive right in. Well, hello, my friend, and welcome. Glad you're joining here on the Claim Your Day podcast. I hope you caught that last series we finished up just a little bit ago, all about consistency. And then if you didn't, don't worry. It's there wherever you're checking out this podcast. You can view it or listen to it there. And then also today is a great time to join in because we're going to start a new series. You know, this podcast is all about, it's Claim Your Day. It's about making the most of the time that you have so that you can make progress on the things that are most important to you, live out your values, and just really be intentional with what you do with this life that you have. I'm not here to tell you what that needs to be, what your values need to be, but I want you to be true to it so that you can make the progress that you want to make for you, your life, your family, and what's most important to you. Well, that's going to be right what we're talking about in this upcoming series that we're starting today, right here, right now, and that is about making today count. You got to make today count. You're never going to get this day back again. So I guess I'm already starting, so we might as well just go ahead and dive right into it. Look, have you ever caught yourself just saying, I'll get to that someday? Well, to some degree, I think that we're all there. We all put some things off until, hey, it's a little bit of a better time. Maybe I'm too busy right now, or maybe you just have something else going on. And so it doesn't make the most sense for you to really get after that goal of yours. And you're waiting for that. I don't want to say perfect, but yeah, you're waiting for that perfect time. And that my friend, it'll cause you so many troubles. Let's think about Sarah for a second. Sarah wants to, she likes pottery. She wants to start her pottery habit, but she knows it's going to take a little bit of time, to get it going, and it's going to maybe take a little bit of money. But so what she's telling herself is that when she has more time, when life's a little bit slower, or there's not as many things going on, that she'll get started on developing that pottery habit that's a real big interest to hers. Or maybe it's John, and John wants to write his book. And so instead of starting at all, he's going to put it off until things are a little bit less hectic at work. Or maybe there's less going on with his family and his demands for that. Well, if you've ever said, hey, I'm going to wait for a better time, then just know I've been there, and I've wanted things to be a little bit slower when I started a new project. And heck, even when I restarted having a podcast, so I had a podcast for years, and then some things were going on, and I took a little bit of hiatus. I don't know if you ever caught the Enjoy Your Life podcast, but I did it for a long time, and I shifted my focus a little bit. And I'm not saying I regret any of that. I made the best choice that I thought was good for right then. And I think the reasons why I made it was correct. But then I realized, hey, you know what? I do want to have a podcast again. I'm going to restart it. And the timing was not the best. There was a lot of stuff going on, and, demands for my time with my family and work. But it was exactly this message that I'm trying to share with you, is that waiting for the perfect time was not gonna help me to make that progress. I probably would still be waiting if I was waiting for that perfect time. Because someday that you're waiting for, someday when it slows down, someday when you have this abundance of time, it can be an illusion, it can be a mirage, and it may never come. In life, let me go ahead and tell you, I've never experienced life just miraculously slowing down, so I had plenty of time to do all the things that I want to do. You create the time. And today, my friend, might be that time. Because today is not just another day. It is your immediate opportunity right now to take the steps that you need to take to achieve your goals, to live the life you want to live, to make the most of your time. That time you have is right now. It is today. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say you don't have to take large leaps. When I started my podcast again, and life was a little bit crazy, I didn't dive right in spending hours and hours a day doing it. No, I took those small steps, and I'm taking them consistently, and they're going to take me farther than those large leaps. You've heard me say it before in this podcast, and I'm going to keep saying it again. You can take a small step today by making the most of your time you have today. All right. Here's one trap I want you to watch out for. It's called the someday trap. That someday you're going to have more time, you're going to have more availability to do these things. My friend, don't put off what's important for you and your goals and your values. Don't put it off, because time will pass. You'll blink and it will be a year later. You'll blink again and it'll be a couple years later. You don't want that. It's the small steps that you can take right now that are going to have you make some progress. So maybe you do have a little bit more time in the future, maybe a year or two from now, like you do have that more time. What if that happened? Well, you would have already made progress by taking small steps and starting today. Another point I want you to think about when we talk about, really taking advantage of it and making today count is something I'm going to call time scarcity. It is real. Now, you hear me talk about in this podcast, and I'm sure you're seeing all over the place, an abundance mindset. Like there's enough resources, there's enough availability to be able to go around so that you can succeed and you can achieve your goals. An abundance mindset is different than what I'm talking about right here. I'm talking about you're never going to get today back. Your time is a finite resource. And it's not a scarcity mindset as though there's not enough. This is more of a scarcity mindset of, hey, you're not going to get today back. That minute that just passed a minute ago, you're not going to get it back. I'm not going to get it back. So make sure that you're taking advantage of it by not putting things off. Make sure you're taking advantage of the time that you have that you're not going to get back, because it's a finite resource. And if you give it all you got right now, my friend, today, give it all you got, your very best today to make the most of it. And you're going to be happy with it, because then tomorrow you can do the same thing and you'll continue to make progress toward what's most important to you. Another little trap is that I want you to avoid is that today is just one day. It's just I only have a little bit of time today, and so I might as well not do it. Whatever your goal is, whatever action you need to take, I might as well, because I only have a few minutes and it won't count for much. Well, that's that small step. That's that small, tiny little step that you'll hear me talk about, that if you take, you'll have already taken it and you can make some progress with that. And that progress can build step after step. It can build, but it's only in those small moments that you're really taking those steps. So don't discredit the power of today. Either by, not taking full advantage and you think that, you're just going to be able to do it tomorrow, or it might be that you don't realize you can really make some progress today, or that someday is going to come and so you don't have to worry about it today. No. That, my friend, is throwing away the value that today has. Don't let any of those traps get you. Even in these small minutes, even in these small moments that you have today, you can take small actions that align with your true values and what is most important for you, your life, your family, and your goals and your values. You can take those small steps. And it's the small, almost seemingly meaningless, those insignificant actions I'll say that seem insignificant that you're taking today, that's actually going to gain you the significance that you want, because then you're going to be living out your values on a day-by-day basis. So let's think about this. What's one of your core values? Just think about it. What's one of your core values? Now, what's a small step that you can take toward living out that core value today? What's a small action that you can take that reflect that value? All right. Now you've identified one of your core values, that small step, that small action that you can take today, and how it reflects that value of yours. Now, by taking that action today, by not delaying it all, by taking that action to move closer toward aligning with your values, by taking that small action today, doesn't that have meaning? Doesn't that have meaning? Doesn't it have value? You see, am I doing that today and then being able to do another small action tomorrow? Now, don't get too far into what you got to do tomorrow, but just think about it for a second. Taking that small action that you can take today and then taking another small action tomorrow. Well, doesn't that honor your values? And aren't you making the most of your time that you have today on a very simple basis? This, my friend, is the key to making your days count. Is the key to claiming those days that you have and making the most of them and living your true values out to your greatest capability is on the simple, small scale of identifying those values, what's most important to you, what you want to, how you want to live, taking a small step toward it today and not letting the day pass. This seems might seem insignificant. I know it, and it's easy to get in that trap. And that's why this episode is not anything profound. It's just encouraging you to not get into that trap. Don't get into that trap. Avoid that trap of thinking that, well, I'll just start on someday. I'll start someday to live out my values. I'll start someday to honor what's most important to me. I'll start someday to pursue that goal, that life, that vision that I have. I'll start someday. Because today, I can't really do that too much today. No, my friend, none of that. No, you're not going to live like that. You're not going to say that. You're not going to think like that. Not anymore, my friend. You're going to claim the day that you have today. You're going to make today count by starting with taking those small actions. Today is where your intention begins. You're going to become intentional, and you're starting today, or you're continuing today. If you've been with me in this episode, this podcast, and you're already taking steps, that's excellent. Today you're going to continue. You have the power to start. You have the power to take that additional step and to maintain that consistency. You can do it, my friend. Take that one small step today. Be intentional with it, and you are the one. You and your family, and what's most important to you. That's what's going to benefit. You truly are. Well, that's what I have for today's episode. Thank you for listening. Make sure you join in for the rest of this series. It's all about making today count, making the most of it, because today does matter. What you can do today is important, and you can make some progress. If you missed that last series, make sure you go check it out. And go to dickmazy.com. I'd love for you to stop by there. I'm going to add some more resources. In fact, by the time I don't know if it will be live by the time this episode comes out, but it's a simple worksheet on creating your intentional day. It's a simple formula. I like to keep things simple, but by following it, you'll be able to be more intentional with the time that you have, honoring your values and what's most important to you. Please rate and review this podcast wherever you're listening to it, whether it's on Spotify or iTunes, wherever. Please rate it. Whatever you think, be honest. That'll help people to find it, and maybe it'll be a fit for somebody else. Maybe it won't. That'll be okay. All right. Here's to you, my friend. Claim your day.